football. Here we come.
And now, 4 minutes of football.
All right, now listen. At the conclusion of last Monday night's game, 22 of the first 32 NFL games of the season were determined by 7 points or less. That's an NFL record for the first 2 weeks of, of the season. Yet, I don't know if you checked, Seattle Seahawks are favored this weekend by 19.5 points over the Jacksonville Jaguars. One of the largest point spreads for any one single game in the history of the NFL. Question for you, all right? And this is my first question anyhow. Nearly 70% of the games so far at 7 points or less. Does this reflect good or bad defensive efforts so far? What's your read on this? Is this a defensive thing or not a defensive thing?
No, I think, honestly, I think this is a beginning of the season thing.
Okay.
We're 2 weeks in. Teams are still kind of gelling. I mean, we saw in other seasons where we blamed it on lockout and stuff like that. But in this case, I think it's just early in the season, and teams aren't completely gelling.
Right.
So it's a little bit more competitive.
What do you make of that?
But once we get a couple weeks into it, you're going to start seeing the cream rise to the top.
Okay.
And you're going to see those people
settling down.
fall
What about that 19.5 point spread? Are you touching that game? Seriously? Okay.
I touched it last week, didn't I?
He's not. But this week, you're not touching that game this week. All right. What else we got?
In accordance with the NFL policy, WKMG must carry all Jacksonville Jaguar away games. We apologize for any inconvenience. Is this a violation because fans were apparently upset that they didn't get to watch the Manning Bowl in Orlando?
With all due respect, whether it was a violation or not, it was frankly hysterical. Apparently, they were running a screen crawl across the bottom, apologizing to fans who wanted to see Denver and the Giants in the Manning Bowl. We apologize for any inconvenience, is what they put up. One could read into that, but at the same time, I could see where that could happen. So I don't know if it's necessarily a violation, although I got to tell you, it certainly appeared that it might have been.
Well, it's an hilarious story, but I think, we apologize for any inconvenience is just a standard tagline.
So do I. I actually think it was innocent.
I don't think they were actually apologizing. I think they were just putting that in as a standard statement, but it's an hilarious story.
I think it was actually innocent. I just think it's so ironic that it happened to the Jacksonville Jaguars, and everybody wants to read into it. So I think it actually is quite amusing. In another one, though, it was announced yesterday that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers would not be permitted to wear their famous throwback creamsicle orange uniforms due to compliance issues of the throwback helmet. Now, initially, I was a bit confused by all of this because my thinking was, well, wouldn't this affect any or all teams that wanted to wear throwbacks? I guess I didn't understand it. I thought that all of the uniforms were redesigned to comply with current, I guess, schemes, current whatever the restrictions are. But apparently that's not the case. So we're not going to see the creamsicle uniforms anymore, which I frankly think is a shame. Right. And with all due respect, look, while I understand the NFL is looking out for safety, it's one weekend. Can we just...
No, we can't. Okay. Because, we made all this big deal last season about concussions and the lawsuit, the class action lawsuit and everything like that.
Right.
And now, all of a sudden, it's convenient to say, well, it's just one game. Look here, folks. You wanted player safety. We wanted all, this is unfortunately a player safety thing.
But I like
and they're not saying that they can't wear the unis.
Uniforms.
They're not saying they're
Come on, you like them unis. Too. Admit it. You like the orange uniforms.
No, I like the throwbacks once in a while. Why not?
They're always getting slammed in those orange uniforms. I like those. I like them. I'm going to put that.
That's a violation.
I'm sorry.